I love you very much, pop-up craftivity. So here we go, front cover and the back cover. You can do your writing activities. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Look at that craft. You open it up and the little bear pops out reading his book, How Do I Love You? It's a great gift for someone at Valentine's or keep for yourself. All right, stay tuned. I'll show you how to put this together. Okay, I think we're ready to begin putting things together. So with the I love you very much, you need, of course, your bear template, and you need a cover and the inside. So what I want you to do is go and color everything and complete any of the writing activities that you see here. And then come on back and I'll show you how to cut it out. So in cutting out, the first thing I want you to do is make sure that you've cut very nicely along that line. You don't have any writing on yours, I made sure of that. So on both the cover and the inside, cut very well along that line. And then we'll worry about the bear in a moment. Now that you have that cut, all I want you to do is turn the inside over, and what we're going to do is glue these two together. So take your glue stick and just put some glue around the edge, and then maybe a little bit right down the center. And then I always put a little bit right there in the middle. And then line up the cover so it fits perfectly on top. Crease it really well with your hands. And then, because this is the front cover, I want you to pick that up and turn it over and line up your edges one more time so that you have a really nice crease here. So you should have your Valentine cover, and when I open that up, I have the inside cover and the back cover. All right, you go get caught up to me. Now I trimmed mine here on the side so that the spacing here is approximately the same. Okay, you can do the same if yours doesn't line up perfectly. I'm going to set that aside, and now I'm going to cut out my bear template. So I'm going to begin by cutting out the book. Then I'm going to come over to the bear, and I'm going to start right at the outside edges here. I'm going to cut all the way in until I reach this tall line here. So cut right to that line, and then come around the paws and around the head and ears, okay? So do not cut this section here. If you want to wait, I'll cut mine and I'll show you what it should look like. Okay, so you can see I've got my little bear all ready to go. And notice I only cut to that big tall line. I cut the bottom off as well. Now let's take a look at our little book. So take your book, and what I want you to do is fold it in half. And then you can do some writing inside that book before we glue it in place. While you're doing that, or as soon as you're done that, I want you to take your bear and turn it upside down, and I want you to take a black pencil crayon and do a dashed line here at the arm and around the paws, just like the front, and draw a little heart. So you can just trace what I did. And I want you to color in his arms on the back side. You don't have to do the rest, just this part in here. So off you go to the book and to the back of the arms and the little paws, and come on back. All right, and now we're going to fold. So we're going to fold beginning in the center of the bear. So pick up the bear, and we're going to do what's called a mountain fold, because I want that to come forward. So I didn't draw the perforated line all the way through the bear's head because I didn't want to mess that up. So what you're going to do is pick it up, pinch it in two spots, and then put it down flat so that that bottom line is lined up with the one underneath. So nice and flat, perfectly lined up, and then with your hand you can crease that line and then very carefully start working your way up the bear face. Okay? Now it doesn't matter that it's not perfectly lined up there. Okay, there you go. Crease number 1. Now let's go to this side first. We're going to do this crease here under his arm from the back side. So find the crease, there it is, and again pinch it in 2 spots. So there's 1 and 2, and I've got that one now creased really well. Okay, and notice I only go to that big tall line. So there's 2 creases. Now I'll do the big tall line. So with the big tall line, I'm going to crease it both ways. So again, I'll start from the back side. I'll pinch it in 2 spots. And then lie it down flat again so that this bottom is lined up nicely. And then I'm going to crease that and turn it back on itself. So that crease is folded really well. Okay. Last step now. What we're going to do is take this paw. See how I jiggle it a little bit? And that line wants to come forward too. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to jiggle that forward. And then I only have this crease here left to do. So as I jiggle that forward, what I'm going to do is try and push the bottom part of that big tall line back and the top part forward. So that comes forward and that stays back. And when I do that, I can move my little hand here. And down that goes, flat there, and then I can just crease there. You want to try that? And then we'll do this one together. Okay, let's try this one now. So it's the same thing. We'll do this one under the arm first. So I go to the back side, I pinch in 2 spots, and I crease that really well. Okay, so that's the arm. Now I do that big tall line. So that one only gets creased to that big tall line there. So I'll do the big tall line next. You can start at the back, crease it really well. And again, just pinch it in 2 spots. Once I have it pinched, I lie it down flat, so that line is perfect there. And that one, I fold back on itself. So that's really flexible, that line. Okay, so 1, 2, now we have to do the third one. So the way I do it, I just take his little paw, push it forward, and again I want this part of that big tall line to come forward and this part to be what we call a valley fold. So as I start to push that forward, I try to keep the bottom part down. So there we go. I put my, it's easiest if you just put your hand right in there basically. Okay, then this starts to come forward, line that up, and then I can just crease right there. All right, folding's done. You go get caught up to me, and then we're going to glue that inside our cover. So to get ready for gluing, what we're going to do is just fold our little bear. Okay, so basically that's what he should look like. His paws are folded inside and he's ready to go. Now we're going to glue that to the inside cover. So the best place, I think, is somewhere around here. So I want this to be glued left of this crease here. I don't want it way up here because then his little head is going to stick out. So I come down so that I know his head is not sticking out, and I don't want to cover up my words. So that looks like a good spot right there. I don't have to come right to the edge either. See that? So when I'm happy with that, I'm just going to place him down, and I'm going to take my glue stick and I'm going to put glue on this section here. So I'm still holding him and I'm putting the glue on. Oopsies, I moved it a little bit. That's okay. So just move it exactly where you want him to be and just close the book. So that's nice and easy. So crease it with your hand. Make sure your book lies down flat. Crease it with your hand. And when you're sure that it's set, turn it over and open the book and do the same thing on this side. So crease it, put the glue on. Once you have all your glue in place, just close the book again. Okay, ready for the big reveal? Well, you go get caught up to me and then we'll have a look. All right, you're doing a great job. Let's have a look and see how our little bear is looking at this point. So if I open it up, look at that. The bear pops out beautifully. Now what we're going to do is put the book in his little hands. So I want you to take each of the little paws and just bend it over slightly. Now you understand why I had you color the back side of those paws. So bend over and give it a little bit of a crease. And you've already prepared your book and you've written in it. And you see that little X mark there? I want the little paw to cover that just slightly. I don't want to cover up the words. So it's probably easiest if I just put a little bit of glue on the underside of that paw. And then I just put the book in his little hand there. Just barely covering up that X, okay? When you have that done, you can close your little pop-up, okay? And then you have to get that placement here with this paw. So once I have it closed, I can do the same thing. I'll just lift that paw up a little bit, put a little bit of glue on it, and then put the paw back on the book. Okay, I can close it, rub it with my finger, and then when that's set, you can open it up and take a look. And there's your little bear reading the little book, I Love You Very Much. Hope you love this craft. Are you ready for the next one? Stay tuned.